Hey, this is Mark Cray from Order of Nine. We're a progressive metal band, progressive symphonic metal band. And thanks for having us on. Yeah. Yeah, the band has been around since 2001. The band was originally called Templar, and band leader, the vocalist, Michael DeGrena, he changed the name Order of Nine, which is basically a reference to the Templar Knights. So yeah, the band's been around for a really long time, and I actually joined in 2011, early 2011.
Oh wow! So you've been with the band for a good 9 years now, huh?
Yeah.
Right on. So, I mean, where exactly are you guys based out of? I mean,
the band is located in Pittsburgh,
okay,
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
right on. And you guys play more northeast area? I mean, have you guys ever thought about touring down here in Florida at all, or?
The band has played festivals in the past. Was Rocklahoma.
Okay.
And there's been some shows over in Europe. Different things where you play. It's like a one-time thing in front of a crowd, big crowd, and then it's done. Typically, pretty much like the Rocklahoma. That was
All right.
shows like that.
Okay. So, I mean, how many guys are in the band? And I mean, you go ahead and some of their names. I mean, and you go ahead and some of your influences too. I mean, that definitely want to know about
that. Michael DeGrena, he's the vocalist, and he's the one that founded the band. There's Steve Pollock.
Okay.
He does guitars and keyboards, and he handles the vast majority of like the recording, the production, the video shoots, the editing, and there's Mark Howard. He's on bass, and myself, I play guitar, keyboards.
Okay.
And we have a drummer that is on a new CD. He's not being named yet, but when the time comes to release the CD, that'll happen, and we're very, very excited about that.
Awesome, man.
So we're kind of right now in the recording process. It's been that way for a long time now, but we are making progress, and just using this downtime to our advantage to network with people like you.
Hey, awesome, man.
Love metal.
Yeah. The reason that I put this show together is basically, we've got a lot of local bands that they didn't get that have the opportunity to get the exposure that we weren't privy to, whenever, we first started out. I know that whenever I first started, I was in a metal band early 2000s, and it was, basically putting flyers on cars and, getting people yelling at us, why are you touching my car?
Yeah.
So
it's a different, it's a different world, obviously, but everyone's at the touch of your fingertips. If you put the time and consistency into networking, you can find anything that you're looking for. It's just a matter of time and being persistent with it.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, in just listening to some of your music, and listening to the guitar tracks and stuff, I mean, I have to say, man, it's I can't put my finger on who some of your influences are.
We have a very eclectic background of influences, but the core of that, is a lot of older school metal. And Mike is a very big fan of like Queensryche.
Okay.
Older Fates Warning. Trying to think off the top of my head. Camelot is one that is a common bond for all of us.
Okay.
Let's see. Evergrey. They're another band that we,
wow,
very relatable for us. Let's see. Steve's a very big fan of they're a pretty obscure band, and I didn't really get into him until he told me about them. But Pagan's Mind. They're basically kind of like a Dream Theater, but a little more like song oriented.
Okay.
Trying to think of something. Obviously, like Dream Theater.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, that's as far as like guitar players, like Steve and I love people like Yngwie Malmsteen.
Okay. Very technical.
We're both huge. Yeah, we're both real huge Slash fans.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we have our hands in a little bit of the mix of everything, but the main focus that we're trying to, the main things that we're trying to draw upon are kind of like symphonic, progressive elements, but still song oriented.
Okay.
And kind of like like Trans-Siberian Orchestra type elements, but mixing that with like metal.
Okay, so kind of like an Opeth feel almost, kind of.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, they get a lot of progressive fans.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been a fan of Opeth for quite a while, and I've noticed, I mean, that some of their stuff is a lot of prog rock, and then some of their stuff is really heavy and hardcore. So yeah, I mean, just like I said, listening to some of you guys' stuff, I was like, I couldn't really put my finger on where you guys. Where you drew inspiration from, because I mean it's unique, and it's refreshing that you're not sounding like somebody else, and that's what.
The band has that power metal label, but obviously a lot of the vocals are like I would consider darker,
right.
Like, there's a lot of those tracks that I sent you. Michael gets a lot of like Peter Steele comparisons.
Yes. Yes.
Like that baritone range. So yeah, it's a mix. There's elements of like power metal and progressive metal in the guitar and the drums, but the songwriting, it kind of mixes a lot up.
Right.
And we're just, I would consider the band forward thinking. Like, we're not like, there's some bands that are really, when you hear them, you automatically think like, okay, this is like a throwback to this era, or whatever era that may be. But, we're all, when you put us all together, you can tell that there's a lot of opportunity for little deviations in the music.
Right on. Now, what are some of you guys' some like the biggest achievements? I mean, I know that you guys, going by your bio and everything, I'm seeing some of you guys is, you guys have been on stage with quite a few different people.
Yeah, the band, I was a replacement of someone that left, and, it was big shoes to fill. There's still, that's, still being chipped away at by myself. But as far as the band's achievements, yeah, they've shared the stage with a lot of big acts. The last show we had played was with Dark Tranquility and Voyager.
Okay,
that was here in Pittsburgh. I believe Metal Church they've played with.
Wow.
They've shared the stage with a lot of bigger bands. Achievements. There was the last the CD. A Means to No End was on the Amazon charts, number 5. Clipped up at number 5 and was there for 8 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
We recently won some awards for a local. It's called Iron City Rocks. They focus primarily on Pittsburgh-based bands.
Okay.
Everyone from I was surprised at how many different people from Pittsburgh I didn't know. But they focus on all Pittsburgh bands, and we won Best Progressive Band for 2 years, and the last year we were in it, we won Best Song for Frost. And recently, this was just 3 weeks ago, we won Metal Devastation. We won Band of the Week. It was basically like one of those voting competitions where you could pretty much vote nonstop, and we won that we broke some records for their week on that.
Awesome, man.
But yeah, we're mainly just in recording mode right now.
Okay, so you guys are recording a new EP, or?
Yeah, we got an album. We got an album all written, and the drums are recorded, and we're basically, the editing and the sounds on that are getting finished, and just filling out the rest of the tracks on the album. Guitar, we're doing bass actually now, and just chipping away at it here and there.
Okay. So, are you guys trying to get that out for this year, or are you going to try to get that out for next year, or what's the time frame on that?
I always say this year. It's been a while, but life gets in the way, and how it is when you get older. We all have jobs, and
right.
So yeah, it will be out, and I would love it. I'd love for it to be out. Realistically, though, the last CD, it was recorded and mastered, and then what sometimes happens is with what I learned is sometimes when you're on the labels, just because the record's done doesn't necessarily mean that they can push it out at that exact moment. Sometimes there's scheduling that has to be coordinated, and this time around we released 3 singles on the last album, and since then we did 2 kind of like songs just to, for fun. We like that Frost I sent you, and we did another one called The Gift, which was another like it's that same type of theme.
Okay.
But like for this album, we plan on releasing, I think, just about all the songs, like, or close to all of them. So that takes time with, coordinating us getting together, planning what we're going to do, and then actually shooting the videos, and then, getting them prepared to be released. So I'm hoping that if we do have another situation where, the album is done and we're going to be sitting on it for a while, that ideally I'd like, to have something worked out where we can, have a few of those ready to fire out.
Right on. So the songs that you sent me, like Frost and some of the other ones, how old is that album?
The last album that was released, Seventh Year, The Broken Mirror, that was out in 2012. And,
oh, wow.
The last single for that album came out the following year, 2013. And, the Seventh Mirror single and Spiral Staircase, those were both singles off of that album that we did, videos for.
Okay.
And then I believe it was 2013, we recorded the song. It's called The Gift. And then Frost, that one that I had sent you, was done at the very end of 2015, like right before the holidays. Actually, like, we planned on getting it out there last week in November, but we had it out I think it was like 2 days before Christmas.
Okay.
That was the last time that that's our last piece of material that we put out.
Okay.
Since, we're getting ready for this album.
Right on. Okay, so yeah, definitely some anticipation for this new album, especially with some of your fans and stuff. I definitely want to hear some new stuff. So, yeah, dude. I mean, thank you guys for reaching out to me. I mean, it's like I keep reiterating on every one of my shows, and and each show gets a little bit better. I keep trying to make it, something a little bit better every time. I mean, I've had quite a few technical difficulties and stuff like that throughout the show, and I've been trying to work out those kinks a little bit here and there. And listening to it off in the background, I can hear that I'm not hearing those issues for this show. So, but anyways, thank you definitely for being on the show and reaching out. I mean, how did you guys hear about us?
Basically, like, as I'm scrolling through, like, the timeline on Facebook, I'll get every day, you get those suggested pages.
Right.
And for me, like, they're all metal music related, because 9 times out of 10, that's what I'm clicking on and that's what I'm looking for. But yours flew by there, and obviously I saw it was Florida based. I was like, I'll give him a message anyway.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, that's basically, it's 95% of the time of how I come into contact with someone. It's through some type of online group or message board. So,
well,
I appreciate the response, and I'm glad you like the material. The guys, they're really appreciative of that. I'm happy to have us on.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And even though that this, it's Florida based and everything, and I definitely like to help out, local bands. I mean, even if it's, you guys are up in, Pittsburgh and stuff. If you guys ever come down in this way, I mean, at least, opens up that network a little bit more, so people have actually heard of you, and you get a little bit more notoriety down in our neck of the woods, pretty much. So, I mean, definitely I want to, be able to assist, and if you guys, like I said, going on tour, come down to Florida, a little bit more people will have the opportunity to hear you, just, having you guys on. But thank you so much for actually reaching out, though.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I was mentioning you before, right before you started the show. I lived down in Florida briefly, kind of like humoring the idea of going to Full Sail, and I was really kind of impressed with like just the whole music scene down there in general, and it's
It's
definitely a state to be in for that type of environment.
you
And that
know
was a while ago, but it's like I was talking to you, it seems like it hasn't changed.
Yeah, it really hasn't. It's actually grown exponentially, man. We've got a couple different groups. We've got, Orlando metal scene, Jacksonville metal scene, Tallahassee metal scene, Miami,
Uh,
Tampa, Space Coast. I mean, and it keeps growing. And it blows my mind to see how many people are actually, in this huge Florida metal family. And it's amazing, man. And it like I said, it just continues to grow.
yeah, you know what? People think like, okay, metal's not mainstream, so it's dead or it's not what it used to be. But I mean, it's actually bigger than it ever was. There's so many more
Oh yeah,
subgenres now. I mean, when you go by just the metrics of what people are seeking out, you know what I mean? Like, it's not thrown in your face on the mainstream anymore, but I mean, it's bigger than ever. I mean, I kind of like it the way it is now.
right. And it does. It makes it so much better because you don't have those record labels that are imposing their will on these bands, and and a lot of this stuff is pure emotion and pure drive and hunger. And and that's what makes the music so much better, is because it's so much more personable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's everyone. I mean, there's so many different bands around. I mean, like like you were talking about your band growing up in like the early 2000s. I mean, like I'm kind of like from the same background. My first band, the internet was kind of like just getting big. It was like
Right.
MySpace. So like, I don't know. It's like there's so many different types of bands now, and it's, in my opinion, I think it's almost like the old way, like growing up, like before we were in bands, you kind of had to like tour and grind it out like that, and now you kind of like work backwards. You could kind of do an album first, record it really well, and then grow your fan base online
Right.
to the point where you get a demand to like build that audience up to where you get a record deal, get a tour, so
Exactly.
it's it's just, it took me a while to kind of like adapt and get into it, but once I accepted it and I got angry enough, like I just attacked it like right at the neck, and I'm happy the way it is now. I mean, there's definitely negatives to it, obviously with the money, but it just depends upon how much you're willing to seek things out online.
Exactly. All right, Mark. Well, thank you once again, man, for being on the show with us today. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get you guys a song up here, Frost. Once again, I've listened to these songs, and I'm probably I do like a little radio show every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely tag you guys in it whenever I play you guys' songs on the radio. But I definitely want to thank you and the guys once again for reaching out to me and actually wanting to be on the show. You guys have been wonderful, and great luck with the new album coming out, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Whenever I got something new to talk about, I'll definitely hit you up.
Oh, absolutely, man. Definitely. All right, Mark. Well, thanks again. And this has been Order of Nine. And everybody, I'm going to go ahead and play this song. And you guys have a great evening, okay?
All right. Thanks a lot. Take it easy.
Bye-bye, man.
Later.
Staring at the sky, I see what seems to be a thousand tears that fall from the shattered dreams of hope. Your wicked kings are blind, your prophets cannot see. I have seen eternity, I'll always be. The frost upon your windowsill is all that's left to see. Will I ever say goodbye and leave behind what I once knew? A change of heart is when I realize what I will The sun of fears in my silence is the ending of my reign but Lady Winters has my dear motto. I know it's time that I must dance for and I dance.
All right, everybody, that was Order of 9. That was Frost. I'm going to go ahead and play another song from them and let you guys listen to the little bit harder stuff. So hold on 1 second. We're going to go ahead and get into that.
I reside.
Seventh Year of the Broken Mirror.
I have been through this before. Many times I've seen shattered remnants on the floor, reminding me who I am and where I've been and what I want to achieve. Is there more to see? What's left of me? Reaching out, I am with the broken mirror. I am in the 7 years.
All right, everybody. That was Order of Nine. Thank you very much for being on the show tonight and listening. Thank you for supporting Florida Metal Radio. And I just wanted to let you guys know, like the infamous Ricky Rackman said, 1 foot in the gutter, 1 fist in the air, keep on rocking. Everybody, y'all have a wonderful evening, a great weekend, and get crunk.